So you might be wondering, I'm a CPA and I'm talking about being a yoga instructor. So I ran a CPA practice for many years and I now work at Zero. But my passion on the side is yoga. And so when thinking about what to do this talk about today, I thought it really applies to many of us in small business, that we want to do the things we have the most passion for, but do we really know how to run that business? So I'm going to give you some tips today from my endeavors of going into running yoga studios, but also giving you some tips along the way of what I've seen with other clients of mine over the years as well. So I really should have led that stretch. So that was a little early, yeah. So this quote rang true for me as soon as I read this. Isn't it true? So we don't want to have a boss. So we start our own business and we think, oh, we're gonna, be able to control our time and, schedule our day the way we want. But really, we work way harder being a small business owner because we're extremely passionate about what we're doing and we want it to be successful. So I thought I'd go back and talk about my experience with yoga. So I have always been athletic, I love sports, and never had done yoga. And so I had my second child and had gotten a little bit sick where I couldn't go and work out. So the only thing the doctor allowed me to do was go do yoga. So I thought, well, I better try this. And as I started getting into it, I was like, wow, I never have felt this way after I work out. Like, it's a totally different experience. So the way I am, type A, I can't just do yoga. I end up having to own a business with yoga. So I was a CPA firm partner at the time, and I had gone to yoga, found this instructor that I really loved, and then she ended up becoming a part of a new studio that opened up in my area. And at the time, I was living in Florida. And so I started going to that studio, and the studio owners were partners. And they very quickly got into yoga because they were passionate. One was a very amazing instructor. One had a passion for yoga, but neither one of them were business owners. So they quickly got in the weeds with it, found out I was a CPA, and said, do you mind coming into the business? So I said, sure, I know how to run businesses. But what I wasn't was a subject matter expert. So I loved yoga. But because I wasn't an instructor, I had to take the information from other instructors about the right way to run the classes and what classes we should have and so forth. And I was believing them because I didn't know better. And so it really led us down some bad paths in the business. Soon after that yoga studio, I decided if I'm ever going to do it again, because I am an entrepreneur at heart, and I still had a passion for this, I need to be a yoga instructor. So I went back and got certified as a yoga instructor and really started learning more about the craft and understanding about all the different types of yoga and so forth. So then I started getting this new idea about what I was going to do with yoga, and decided to go in with a partner again, because with my work schedule, I needed someone that could do some of the work that I couldn't do. And learning from my past, and so not only my own partnerships, but other clients of mine, I've really, in all my years dealing with clients, and I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, I've seen one successful partnership. Because people go in with different feelings of how they're going to run that business, what they're really good at. Everyone has good intentions, but partnerships are worse than marriage, trying to get out of them. So you're sharing money, you're both passionate about the concept. So what I learned was if I was going to have a partner, that we needed to do a partnership agreement early on, agree on how you would part before you go in. So very similar to a prenup, but very important. And what ended up happening is through that process, you have to talk through many of the decisions that go on in a business, and Sue found out we're not a fit to be partners. Did it still cost me money? Yes. But would it have cost me way more money later? Absolutely. So thank goodness, went through that process. So if you are partners, very important to go through a partnership agreement. Third time around, I moved to Ohio, and I currently have a yoga studio because it's my passion. And but what I have quickly found about this studio, and that's the picture of the studio, it's called Drishtik Yoga, is that all geographies are not the same. And I can tell you I went to yoga here in San Francisco last night, and yoga in Florida, and yoga in Ohio, very different. Very different expectations of what those customers want. So knowing who your customer is, what type of yoga they want, is very important in how you put this together. The pricing's different, the scheduling's different. Everything about the business is different than how I ran it in Florida. So from the business side of things, so in that first studio that I talked about, one of the big problems for those partners were that they had no accounting systems in place. So that created a lot of bad decisions and a lot of opinions. So without accounting, without the actual data, you don't know what's really going right or wrong in your business. You have opinions. So you have to get to the data. You have to have real information to make those decisions, and that business lacked it. My second endeavor, it was all about technology and making sure we had the right technology. And so, again, this was in a partnership, and the agreement on that technology was extremely important. You can't go in cheap. You have to think about what kind of infrastructure do I need to put in place so that this business can one day be a bigger business, if that's what you want it to be. Because it's going to cost you a whole lot more later to fix that and undo it and have a bunch of change management with your staff, your partners, all of your vendors, your customers, everyone around you. The third time around is the cloud. So everything I do with this business is online. And that's what enables me to have this business I'm so passionate about, but have a very demanding full-time job at Xero, which is online accounting. So I'm from the field, but I very strictly believe about this. So I don't only use online accounting in my business. I use every single possible cloud application to make that business run. So I have scheduling software that's in the cloud. I have payment solutions that are in the cloud. We use Dropbox to have files go back and forth. So everything I can access all through my phone, my iPad, on a plane with my wireless connection, I can run the business wherever I'm at. And my job is international. So a lot of times I'm on a totally different time schedule, 12 hours difference, a day ahead, a day behind, and I'm able to help make quick decisions for the business because I can access everything. It gives me the freedom to do that. So, really important piece of having your business is setting goals. So you don't want the business to take control. You want to be running your business. So a lot of people go back to the beginning because you have a passion about something. But you don't picture what that means. There's another studio where the business owner took over, and she was another yoga instructor, and she took it over so that she could create her own class schedule and be able to teach when she wants to teach. There's going to be a rude awakening there because that's not how the business is going to go. There's going to be demanding teachers. There's going to be customers that want certain things. There's going to be all sorts of business decisions you have to make besides teaching the class. Making sure that you have a scalable business to meet the goals that you set for your business. So again, it takes cash to make this happen. You can try to do it on a shoestring budget, and there's a lot of things that can do that for you, but if you don't put a website together, if you don't invest in the right things, then your business is never going to take off. And you're going to wonder why customers aren't showing up at your door. So really important to take the time to invest in that early. If you are not a financial person, get one. So it is really important to understand that side of the business. So there are lots of advisors out there that aren't necessarily tax accountants. They're not auditors. They're advisors that help. I always called this type of business, it's the doctor that would make house calls. Okay, so they're your mentor to kind of, what does this number mean? Why is my cash not where I think it was? They can help you analyze that data and make sure you hit those goals for your business. Getting the right systems and people in place. So when I put this business together this third time, I made sure I had all the right online systems that spoke to each other, that worked together so that I could execute this business from wherever I was. I also made sure to hire the right people that could run that business and easily be able to use the technology that I put in place. Marketing and social media are an absolute must. They are what gets the word out. And if you haven't invested time in your website, that's absolutely number one, because everything you do in social media needs to drive people back to that website. And do not think of your website as a one-time thing. You must do it, work on it on a daily basis where your customers are constantly coming back to it to learn more about you and your business. So my advice, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So be ready for the challenges, the glory, the disappointments, and the fun. So not every day is going to be fun. You're going to have some horrible days, but you have to understand what your end game is. So write down your goals, but don't just do it once. So a lot of people do goal setting, and then they never come back to it. So you need to, on a regular basis, review those goals. Make sure that they're still current. Do you have to revise anything as you've gotten more information about your business? A lot of times you start that business, and it's nowhere the same once you get into it because your customers are different than you thought. Make sure your business can scale. Separate the business from yourself. So a lot of times we start feeling like this is me, this is who I am, but it's not. You have to realize this is a separate entity. You want it to be successful, but you absolutely have to know when to walk away before things get too bad. So you have to be able to pull those triggers, and that financial person can help you along the way. Desperation creates bad decisions. So when things are not going like you thought, or someone isn't acting like you thought, or you're having a problem with an employee, you want to make sure you've got that network of people to ask for help so that you don't create a worse situation than you're in. So be open to advice. Don't think you know everything, because as a business owner, we're just making decisions really fast. Listen to what people are telling you and be flexible enough to make those changes. And my last one is hire employees rather than a partner. So a lot of times we partner because it seems easier and someone else can take on some of that work. But you can always hire people to do specific jobs if you guys aren't completely in line with where that business go and how the division of tasks is going to work, so that you both feel like each of you are putting 70% in that business. Oh, hitting the wrong thing. So tough times never last, but tough people always do. So as long as you stay to your plan and know where you're going with your business and put those right systems in place, it should definitely lead to help you be successful. Thank you.